I was incarcerated for 13 years, and I participated in a program at Wallkill. I've been released for 11 weeks. Today makes 78 days of freedom, and thank you. Trust me, 78 days out of doing like 4,700 days is really something different, and I'm thankful that I was able to find employment within the first couple of weeks of my release. And one thing I will say, and this is not this wasn't rehearsed or anything. Like literally, once I was released, Miss Hudak contacted me. Rachel contacted me, and she made sure that I stayed focused on continuing my education. At the same time, I have a wife, I have 3 children that I need to support after being supported for 13 years. I feel that it's my duty to be able to support myself and them. I was 29 years old when I was incarcerated, and I'm 42 now. So I've had a long time to think about my flaws and to try to change them. But the thing that I noticed, throughout my incarceration in every facility that I went to, was that the person has to want to change. And that change starts with not liking something about themselves. Whether it's the crime that was committed, the way you associate with people, your family, your faith, anything. And that change is something that I noticed as soon as I was inside, working on my case, doing the law work. I said, listen, I don't want to be the same person that I am now when I'm released. So my journey for me was to try to get into the best programs that every facility had. And whether it was NYU at Wallkill or Mercy College at Sing Sing or the textile industry program at Clinton, whatever it was, the best programs, academic, vocational, anything financial, I was there. And that's what I did with myself. And I've noticed that a lot of the guys that were released from Sing Sing, particularly, I was there for the longest. I was there for 6 years. Everyone that had obtained their bachelor's and or master's degree have not been returned to prison through a crime. And there was a movie done by one of the professor's sons. I can't remember exactly. I think it's 0%. But two alumni have been returned to prison for miscellaneous things, leaving the state and things of that nature. But you can't take that away from the whole. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, if there's 300 guys that have their degrees and 2 guys have, probably, messed up, listen, this is very important. And as I tell everyone out here and I tell everyone in there, you have to utilize these things that are afforded to us. So I don't want to stay too long. I'm just seeing Jamal for the first time. I haven't seen him in a couple of months. Good to see him.
Days.
Yep.
That's me. I got the floor.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
How are you?
I know you. Rachel, how are you doing? This is good evening, everyone. This is very important to me. I feel a little under pressure because my professor's here, and Piper taught me. I'm not going to look at you, Piper, because I did my exercises that when I was back there, and I know I have to represent her. So this is very important to me. So I'm looking for a grade when I finish this. I know this is a continuing education program. Now that I've made you all giggle, and that means that she told me that too. If you make the audience do that, that's one point I've reached. Okay. First and foremost, I have a victim in my crime, and I wanna say that to the victim, even though the victim's not here, I committed a crime, and I'm sorry that I did that crime. I can't take it back, but I've paid my debt to society. and I will never commit another crime like that again because I'm a different person now. There are a lot of men in prison who have committed crimes because of the environment. There's no excuse for when you do something. You know, you can make up excuses, but it is what it is. And all you can do after you make the mistake is try to make good on the mistake and not make the same mistake twice. Coming from an environment like that, like Carlos said, yes, there are a lot of men in there who are still stuck in the same frame of thinking, and unfortunately, they have to find within themselves the wherewithal to want to change themselves. But there are a lot of men in there who want to change and who understand that they have made a mistake and they want another chance in society. I've been out of prison 12 days.
Wow.
12 days. I have a wonderful family. I was blessed to not have to struggle when I came home. My sister's a correction officer. My brother's a retired New York State drug liaison for New York State. So they made my transition very easy. They know I'm a good person. I'm emotional too, so excuse me. But I'm 52 years old. I have 2 grandchildren, so I missed them growing up, but now I'm getting a chance to get to know them already. I took my grandson to daycare today for the first day. He went with me. The first day he wouldn't do it. You know, he just met me, and I'm not going with this man. I'm 2 years old. He threw a fit. But today, after being with me 12 days, he went with me, and that was exciting for me. So I'm just getting acclimated with this city. I have this phone my brother bought me. I don't know how to. I press people's number, and I call them by mistake. I group text people, and all these things that all y'all doing nowadays. People telling me, take me off of this, don't do that. I don't know the channels on the TV. But one thing I do know, and Carlos can attest to this, is that prison teaches you patience. And I see a lot of people on the subway and in waiting areas, and they just don't have patience. And after being in prison for 8 years, and he did double my time, you just don't know. I was in the welfare office today from 9 o'clock till, that's why I'm late, because I was in there till 4:30. But I didn't frown because I'm used to being in those type of situations for years. So it's just, you don't understand and appreciate freedom until it's taken away from you. But if you don't give some people the chance to come back into society and make a life for themselves, then it's hard, because a lot of people don't forgive you. Like, I went to see my parole officer, and he read the crime. The crime happened 15 years ago, and I did my time, and I said to him, I paid my debt to society, so are you still gonna judge me for what I did? When is what I did gonna be, this is what the world says. You go to prison, you pay your time, you come out, and it's over. If you don't do it again, then you move on. If you do it again, and you deal. So when are you gonna stop saying, I can't do nothing else for what I've done but my time? I've like Carlos said, I attached myself to every positive program I could in prison. I did everything I could to prove to society that I'm not the same person I was 15 years ago. Stop judging me by that. Let me do my time, come out, and move on. That's all I ask, to live like the rest of you. Some people don't want to change, but some do. So if you recognize those that do, at least give us the chance. And the education that I got from the professors, Breon, my boy George, that's my boy. He's the village. That's what we call him, the village, because he come in all the time. And the professors are loved in Walk Hill. I have personally recommended a few people to Rachel that are in the program, that these are guys that weren't interested. They weren't interested in what society had to offer because they thought society would always scorn them. But once they seen me, who they considered OG or whatever these colloquialisms you want to call us, that's a word I learned from my professors. I may have said it wrong, but they associate me. If they said, if he can do it, I can change. And that's the important part of them seeing people like me and Carlos come home and seeing that if they can do that, I can do it too. And these are valuable people in society. You have some skillful, intelligent people that are stuck in these prisons, but they just need an opportunity to shine. And you are the people that can give them that opportunity. And that's all I ask. I don't want to take up your time. And thank you.
I'm sure the audience will have more questions that they would like to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Do you have questions for the students or for the teachers?
Take 2 or 3 more questions.
Yeah, let's take it.
That was really moving. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I'm a professor at NYU. It's tremendous to have you here. I mean, and what you've done in this program, as Andrew said, this is NYU really at its best, making a difference. So I'm a teacher, I'm a professor in the English department, and it's tricky for you because your professor is here, but I think she'd give you permission to answer this question. I'd really like to hear what your experience in the classroom was. You know, what did you enjoy best about it? You know, what was the classroom like? What did you find most valuable? Are there pointers or advice you would give for, say, an NYU professor who hasn't taught in prison education? What advice or guidance would you give us if we were coming in for the first time?
Do you mind if I...
Oh, go ahead, Carlos. Yes.
I was fortunate to have Professor Terrell Gajarawala. Okay? She walks into the class, you know, she's probably maybe 4'11", 5'1" or something. She put that bag down and she laid it out. Listen, we got these books we're gonna read. She went to the board. It's a syllabus. I'm not dumbing anything down. You're gonna do exactly what I do out there. I'm not gonna dumb it down for y'all. So if y'all not gonna take this serious, you know what I mean? You have to take this serious. So she gave us assignment after assignment after assignment. And no, this was great though, because it just so happened that I was in the optical program. I made eyeglasses, okay? And the majority of the class were guys that I know. But when she would ask questions, she had it structured to kind of to pull out how we feel. So there wouldn't be any type of bashing about somebody's view on a book or how they feel about a certain issue. But what I got out of it was we can all read the same book, and everyone had a different perspective on that book. Even though I read the book, I didn't look at it from his point of view. It could have been through his environment, the way he was raised, his religion. It changed his view on the same book. So what I'm going to say to any professor or to anyone here that is dealing with men that are incarcerated is, number one, we are human, okay? And some of us have made poor decisions. Can't blame anybody, you know, for the decisions I've made in the past, you know? And I've learned from that. But don't let the stigma of, you know, The Wire or Oz or American Me deter you from dealing with people that are going to be released one day. I'm the guy on the train. You know what I mean? I'm the guy I install, you know, Wi-Fi antennas for Verizon. I'm the guy in the building. You would never know the difference. Do you understand? So I say that to say, the same professor that you are here at NYU, be that same professor there at Walkill. Because you might bring something to the table that somebody in there needs. So don't go in there with some sort of pre-contrived notion of what I should be. Should I be tough? You know, these guys are looking that guy looks like the Hulk. No. You're gonna see a lot of that in there. These guys are lifting 500 pounds. Y'all. So, but going there with you, your personality is what is going to bring the best out of each student. That's the truth.
Okay. To piggyback on what Carlos said, I'm gonna first start off with, we are the people that are being released from prison, and unfortunately, the correctional staff and the people in prison, they are damaging men in there. They're not treating them like human. They're making them more of a monster than when they came in there, because they're constantly doing things to us in there and not getting taking responsibility for it, and then releasing people into the community. And now this person has been for 8, 10, 15 years been abused. So now when he comes out here, he's on the subway with you. He's in a building with you. And one day you might do something real small, but it triggers the abuse that was going on in him for 10 years. And he may react like he doesn't even want to react because of that abuse. But getting back to what the professor said, my first 2 professors were George and Breon. That's like James Brown and Mick Jagger. They come in doing the funky chicken. That's what it was. They come in, and Breon has got his rap going on, and George has got his philosophy. It was beautiful, And my second set of professors was Piper, and you see Piper's size. Not a day did she come in quivering. She was, I was saying, how is this little small sister in here with all these, criminals? And not one time did she show any, but she never got disrespected. She never got, and then Professor Schulman and his assistant, they came in and they treated us. They didn't adapt the facilities. Whatever, I don't know what goes on when y'all come in and they tell you whatever, but when they got in there, they left that out the door and they dealt with us, and it was a wonderful experience. We learned what we were supposed to learn. Those few hours of the day, everybody that's in that NYU program, when they come back from that program, it's an unspeakable feeling just to be treated like, we're just like we're in a class, like he said, like Carlos said. They come in there, this is a class, this is how I run my NYU class, and we did that, and that's all. Just come in there and treat the guys that are in there signed up. They weren't forced to go there, but they're trying to get in there, so they want the NYU experience. They want the college experience, so just give them that the benefit of the doubt. That's all, and you'll be fine. Thank you.
Oh, you have. We got one question here.
Another question. Here.
Thanks for everything tonight, especially Carlos and Jamal. I wanted to ask a question about sort of the phases of the program. My name's Laura Huss. I work in advocacy on opposing laws and policies that would further incarcerate folks. And I'm interested in understanding how the second stage of the program is going to work in the way in which the program is structured inside of the corrections department, and how the structure of that component, sort of being a theoretical anti-mass incarceration space, is going to work in order to be able to keep the program from not shutting down. Some of the programs I'm familiar with, the Prison Birth Project in particular, works inside of prisons and also opposes shackling, and so they're struggling with that, and just hearing about your...
I think it might be for you.
Yeah, maybe. So, as you can imagine, it's a, and I think other speakers spoke to this issue. It's a complicated system to negotiate. And what I was trying to say before when I said it's absolute discretionary power, I think Carlos and Jamal were both kind of illustrating how that actually works. We have very good relationships with the Department of Corrections. They're very happy to have us there. We respect what they do. We realize and understand that we're there at their pleasure to some degree. But we also are clear that we don't come to the table empty-handed, that we actually have something valuable. We actually have something that they want, the Department of Corrections in New York State wants to cut the prison population in half in the next 10 years. There's a real push for decarceration, and as both Carlos and Jamal alluded to, the Department of Corrections itself doesn't really know how to do it. And nobody can say that education isn't one of the most important pieces of that puzzle, because every single study shows it. So we have something very important that we bring to the table. We're doing it with integrity. We're doing it with respect for their procedures and processes. What we do on the outside is our business. We're not out here to offend anyone. We're not out here to attack the Department of Corrections. There are many good people in the Department of Corrections. There are many people who are concerned with general social welfare. We're lucky to be in New York State in many ways, which has a progressive penal tradition to the extent to which you can have such a thing. It's ironic. Gallatin's called the University Without Walls. Wallkill was called the Prison Without Walls initially. It still has some of that element to it. Of course, they're now building a higher wall at Wallkill as we speak. So it's not an unmixed picture. But what we do on the outside is our business, and we will try to do that with the same kind of integrity that we're building the college in prison program. And we'll try to develop the research agendas, the kind of public events programming that we're doing here tonight, the kind of student engagement piece that has been alluded to. We'll try to do all of those things organically as they growing out of our experience building this program. And I don't think we'll go wrong doing that. There may be moments when we run into tensions and trouble with the Department of Corrections. I have somebody who's proposing to teach, an instructor who's proposing to teach a history of drugs course at Wallkill next semester. We'll see how that goes, how that conversation goes. That could be a fascinating, really important class. We have not yet run afoul of the prison in terms of what we've been proposing, but we're also not afraid to push the envelope and to see what comes of that. So as was said before, as Piper, I think, said, it's all about building relationships, really, and building good, strong relationships, because this is all about people, really. And in some ways, we're all looking at the same problem and trying to figure out what to do about it, and we have different ideas. But our ideas are now being taken seriously, and I think we have a really great opportunity. So I think that's the best answer I can give. The second or next future of this program, I think, is still very open, but it's very exciting in terms of what we might be able to do.
I just want to say something that's not related to any of the questions, but I think to me is an important thing. We do care about core liberal arts competencies, and those include, very importantly, writing. And I want to say that NYU students who come to NYU with all their high SAT scores and everything else, any English professor can tell you that they don't enter college as fantastic writers. Our NYU students at Wallkill, some of them may be fantastic writers, some of them may not be, but we want them to have the same skills when they leave to go out into the world, to fill out a job application, to write an application letter, to be competent to take over jobs that involve writing. And one of the things that wasn't stated by Piper, but we believe that many of our students at Wallkill may have actually rather good skills at speaking. And we think that there's an integrated way to use public speaking, spoken word poetry, oral articulacy and literacy as a route into high quality writing. And so I guess what I'm trying to do is to end the conversation a little bit by saying that this is truly a commitment to education. The things that we're educating our students at Wallkill with are not different. They're not different issues, and they're not different strategies. They are really core competencies that to be top-notch citizens and take on good jobs they should have, and our students here at the Square also should have. So some of the same challenges are there. For instance, how do you make students think that writing matters in a world where even the New York Times, which is supposed to be a respected newspaper, has piles of examples of grammatical errors? Why should they bother? So I just wanted to share that, because I think it's important that these are the same issues that we deal with in our classrooms in Washington Square. But I do think sometimes our students in the prison setting might have some competencies they're bringing that are very special that we can build on to help strengthen some of those core issues, mathematics, writing, obviously history, those sorts of cultural understandings that ground you in relationship to future jobs, et cetera. So, it is really recognizable college education. I should also say, these students not only tried to get into the program, they applied and they were accepted. And not everybody who applied was accepted. In fact, I think our application rate might be not that different from NYU more broadly, just to say. So these are high quality selected students of very real gifts and talents that we are educating with a lot of the same kinds of issues that we face in our classrooms here.
Sure. Yeah.
Hello. Thank you guys for doing this. This is amazing. My name's Tori Dahl. I'm a student in the Steinhardt Counseling Psych doctoral program. But as an undergrad, I actually was a part of the Cornell Prison Education Program as a teaching assistant. And I was wondering, how can students at the Washington Square campus get involved?
Well, we should learn from you, Diane, and what was your name? Tori, how you did that. But at the moment, in the initial round, we weren't given permission to bring students in. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
We're hoping that'll change.
I think the best thing to do right now is to visit our website, which has a contact link, and you can write to us, and you can talk to Rachel, and we have lots of room for people to volunteer. We've done some peer writing support sessions at the prison. Right. We're now formalizing that more. We sometimes have need for support here in terms of the kind of research or small scale projects we're doing to build the program. So there are many dimensions of potential involvement. So please just get in touch with us. I think that's good. Yeah. So. Yeah, there's a reception on the outside. There's some food and wine, and I want to thank Dean Wofford. I want to thank Piper Anderson, Andrew Ross, who had to leave early, and our special guests, who was really wonderful to have Carlos Evans and Jamal Sapp here to share this with us. Thank you.